What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Frequency Factory video. This is the Ampeg SVT II Non-Pro final video. I apologize, I wanted to make this more of a series, so as I go through the boards, making any changes, repairs, upgrades, that you can kind of learn along the way and see exactly what's going on. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way, so I really only got 2 videos out of this, or basically 2.5 with that little sneak peek. But just wanted to walk through some of the changes that I made to this amp for this video. So on the power board, when I pulled that, a few of the power capacitors were humped. I like to replace those any chance that I get when I'm in an amp, if it's old enough. Obviously this one is, so I replaced all the electrolytics on that board. Also went through and tested out all the resistors and diodes to make sure they're working as they should, as well as capacitors. There are a few poly caps on that board. Also ran any of the upgrades that Ampeg recommends over the years. So I replaced the 5 ohm plate resistors with the ferrite beads that they recommend. Also placed a diode across the cathode resistors that they recommend as well. And just making sure this amp has all of its updates that they called for over the years. I then pulled the preamp board, go through that as well, same thing, go through and change out any resistors that are out of spec, test the capacitors for capacitance to make sure they're in spec, as well as ESR. There was one electrolytic on the preamp board that I changed out. I like to change out any of the electrolytics that I can while I'm in there. Same with the EQ board, did the same, checking all the resistors, changing out those electrolytics, and checking those diodes as I go. There were a few board repairs that were done, so some traces that were fixed. Someone else was in that amp at some time. Also, there was a few burnt resistors where I had to repair the board, and also not only replace that resistor, but a nearby capacitor is usually burnt, and I like to change those out as well, just because you never know how hot they got. And you want to make sure they're all within spec. Also replaced out a couple of the connectors within the wiring. Some people like to swap out or cut out and replace the regular Molex connectors if there is an issue. They don't keep those on hand or order new ones. They just get some cheap connector from, say, AutoZone or Walmart. Replace all of those with the proper Molex connectors that are supposed to be within the amp as well. Also go through all the boards and make sure all the solder joints are reflowed. Old Ampegs are known for cold solder joints, as well as cracked solder joints, especially around a lot of the pots and their connections. So here's a little test. So as you can see, it has that great Ampeg tone. Now some specs on the amp before we finish out this video, as I know everybody likes to know the details. The power amp tubes are new Sovtech 6550, I believe, WEs. They are matched on an Apex matcher. Then the preamp tubes, the V1 is a new old stock, tests as new Mullard 12AX7. The other 2 preamp tubes are TAD 7025s. Then the driver tubes, the 12AX7 is a new Sovtech LPS, and the 12 AU7s are new old stock RCA black plates. Now the cab underneath, I'm sure you've noticed that, is an Ampeg early V4. It has been loaded with eminent speakers, as well as been swapped over to a 1/4-inch jack to get rid of that funky Ampeg jack. So if you guys would like to see more details on that, definitely comment below. I can make another video going over some more details regarding that setup as well. Also, the bass I was playing is that black one. It is about an 06 Fender Highway 1 P bass with some 1963 Fender pure vintage pickups that I installed not too long ago. Thanks for tuning in to another Frequency Factory video. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, also hit that bell to be notified of any new videos that we put out. We have some exciting ones, another Ampeg amp, some Fender amps, as well as a GK I plan on going through. See ya!